I work at Historic Yellow Springs, which I'm the executive director there, and that is the site of the only Revolutionary War hospital commissioned by George Washington. So our plug into the conversation is the Philadelphia campaign and sharing more with people about what medicine meant back then. It wasn't exactly like we think of it today, where sort of it's a pill that cures your ailments. It was much more about just taking the edge off. But that was revolutionary thinking, pun intended, at the time.
What does being American mean to you?
Yeah, I think being American to me means understanding the history and how we got to this point today. That it's not perfect. That there's a lot of messiness in our history and in most countries' history, and that it's about constantly getting better, constantly thinking about ways to improve, and fighting for that, but in a way that is open and receptive to new ideas and new ways of thinking. So I think when we base everything purely in what happened in the past, we're not opening ourselves to evolution in the future, and I think that's an important piece of the American dialogue.
All right, are there any points in the last 250 years that stand out to you historically that are like most interesting?
It's a good question. I'm an artist, and so I think of our history a lot in art standpoints because I think art is always such a commentary on culture. And I find that that's an interesting way to kind of view the American story is through the arts because whether it's the reactions of the movements preceding it or the way in which things move forward, when you see things like the way that Americans interpreted Impressionism as it came over from the French and how it took a distinctly American twist. I think that's what's unique about the American spirit is that we somehow take these things that we assimilate from other cultures, twist them, turn them, and make them our own in a unique way. And so whether you're looking at the abolition of slavery and what that meant for individuals and how that interpreted in artworks, up through, like I was saying, the mundane stuff, just the way that we appreciate the landscape and the different periods around that, around the Industrial Revolution. Each time it's interesting to see how artists as individuals interpret the culture that's going on.
Did you paint those paintings?
I did not paint those paintings. I know the
And
artist.
I was like, what?
I know the artist that did, but yeah.
Awesome. Why does democracy takes participation? What does that mean?
Democracy does take participation, and I think that means, lately I find that means trying to listen more than you talk, because a lot of people like to talk, and not a lot of people like to listen, and so in order to have a dialogue, you got to have both, and that means sometimes hearing things that you don't agree with or don't like, and it may not ultimately change your impression or the outcome of your beliefs, but at the same time, it's about appreciating others and realizing where they're at and where they're coming from. I think for so many individuals, beliefs and stances come from their own personal history, which we all have convoluted histories of our own. And so I think it takes a little bit of introspective looking inside of you to understand how that reflects on society as a whole.
Good. I think you're good. Nice job.
Thanks.